No, turn it off. Turn it off. So I know it's Friday the 13th and everything, and it's kind of Jason's day, but EW did just release some new information on Halloween 2018, so I had to make a video about it. I hope you'll forgive me. Anyway, since this is like the biggest week ever in terms of EW dropping information about movies I'm excited for, I'm glad to say they're capping it off with Halloween. They released this full top to bottom spread of Michael Myers, and he looks great. The mask looks awesome, the steak knife looks awesome, I really like the mechanic suit, and I think it's Nick Castle in the costume, which would make sense since he is playing Michael Myers in a few shots of this movie. Now, I don't know if EW meant to do this, but they released some plot information that kind of expands a scene we already knew was going to happen: Michael Myers escaping from the bus. They asked David Gordon Green, in the film we discover that masked killer Michael Myers is about to be transferred from a psychiatric institution to a maximum security prison. Can we assume there is a hiccup en route? And all David Gordon Green had to respond was, well, shit hits the fan one way or the other. So I don't think there's any reason not to believe EW here, but I've read through a ton of different articles and set visit reports and interviews, and no one's ever reported on this before. So what I do think is that we are gonna see this actually happen at Comic-Con next week, because in Hall H, there's a Halloween panel where Blumhouse is gonna show a bunch more footage. So it does kind of make sense that EW would reveal it now, 1 week before that panel. And also, we do get to see multiple shots in the trailer of that crashed bus, so this really just does make sense as a major plot point in the movie. That's not all the information EW revealed though. There were also 2 blurbs from Jamie Lee Curtis and David Gordon Green, specifically aimed at fans who are upset that they're getting rid of Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Resurrection, and Age 20. So Jamie Lee Curtis said, "What I love is that it surgically excises all of that dead tissue. This is growing from just that original movie 40 years later. There may be people who love the other movies, great. They have zero relevance to this story." So from that statement, it seems like Jamie Lee Curtis really couldn't care less about getting rid of all of these movies. She kind of feels the same as Danny McBride in that respect, and while she hasn't really said anything negative about Halloween 2 over the years, she said something that really didn't show much kindness to H20 back in June. She said H20 started out with the best intentions, but it ended up being a money gig. The film had some good things about it. It talked about alcoholism and trauma, but I ended up doing it for the paycheck. But like I said in past videos, when you have people entering and re-entering a franchise 40 years after it started, it's so important to give them as blank a slate as possible so they have creative freedom to actually tell a good story that they want to tell. The less baggage, the better, and they are getting virtually no baggage with this movie, and that's great. I think that was really important for the Halloween franchise, and honestly, hearing from David Gordon Green, which you will in just a second, it seems like this is the right guy to handle the job. At least to me, David Gordon Green comes off as really understanding of fan frustration when he says, "This film isn't one to narratively recognize any of the films other than the original Halloween, but we enjoy very much the other films, and there's a lot of subtle shout outs to a number of things that I think big fans, the people that know the film scientifically, will get a kick out of, hopefully." So even though these films aren't canon, there's going to be a lot of references to them in this new movie. I mean, we did get to see a reference to Halloween 3, even though it was a little quick in the trailer, so I really don't feel too bad about losing those movies. And just because of that, that doesn't mean I'm not a fan of them. I used to watch Fear Fest on AMC every year, starting from when I was like 7 years old. And it always weirded me out that Halloween 3 didn't have Michael Myers, so in my head, my 7 or 8 year old head, I was like, man, his scenes must have been so violent that they completely cut him out of the movie for TV. And I don't know why I thought that, but I did. But anyways, I've always been a big fan of those movies, but like I just said, giving directors a blank slate to work with when you can, and especially Jamie Lee Curtis, who's already came back to this role, coming back again 40 years later and giving her that blank slate to really commit and really show us the end of Laurie Strode, I think is really important. And even though I and a lot of other fans are upset that we're losing all these movies, I think they had the best intentions by cutting them, and it's really hard to fault them for it. And again, as I say in every video, if this movie sucks, we can just pretend it never happened, and then we have a bunch of different timelines we can consider canon ourselves. So yeah, guys, that's all the updates I have for you on Halloween 2018. Like I mentioned earlier, next week there is going to be a Comic-Con panel in Hall H, which means it's going to be a pretty big deal. I really like the representation horror has at Comic-Con this year outside of The Walking Dead, which has a Castle Rock panel playing at the exact same time. I know it's kind of a bummer, but it's also cool that there's that much going on. But anyways, I'll do my best to get a video up immediately talking about what exactly people see at Comic-Con in Hall H. So if you're going and you want to let me know, I will definitely give you credit in the video. So just follow me on Twitter and let me know that you want to talk about Halloween 2018 Hall H panel or something like that. But yeah, guys, that's all the time I have for today. So as always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.